On this episode of Doing the Most, it's an episode to share with your friends and family who ask you what to get you for the holidays. We're giving you our top 10 books we recommend for homebrewers.
Homemade brews and various how-tos, everything from mead to roast, bake creation, fermentation, inebriation, doing the most.
Now you may be part of our typical audience watching this video, or you may be the friend or family member or colleague or co-worker of somebody who does watch the channel, and they want to make sure you know what to get them for the holidays or, for any special occasion. So we're going to make this quick and to the point. These are our top 10 books for homebrewers. And now they're not all necessarily homebrewing specific books, but even the ones that are kind of on the periphery still have something of value to offer the homebrewer. Up first, it's a classic, Charlie Papazian's The Complete Joy of Homebrewing. This is the book that I recommend to anyone who's getting started in homebrewing for the first time. I think it's on its 4th edition now. My copy is the 3rd edition, but this book covers everything you need to know about brewing beer, and it even touches a little bit on mead, but it's really got all the bare essentials you need to know to get started. Every homebrewer should have a copy of this book in their collection. Number 2 is a relatively new entry to the homebrewing catalog. It's Jack Keller's book, Home Winemaking. Now, Jack sadly passed away not long ago, but he did complete his work on home winemaking before that happened, and his family still benefits from the sale of this book. And this book covers a ton of his winemaking recipes, and a lot of them, if you're a mead maker, can be adapted into mead recipes. Jack covers all the basics, similar to The Joy of Homebrewing, but he also covers all kinds of other in-depth information specific to home winemaking. The book is really aesthetically pleasing, it's got beautiful pictures and illustrations, and it's just super info dense on home winemaking. Number 3, this one's a little bit off the beaten path, The Noma Guide to Fermentation. This book is a little bit like an encyclopedia volume about fermentation, and it's also a really beautiful book. And while it doesn't cover things like beer or wine or mead, it does cover kombucha and all kinds of other fermentations. But for the homebrewer who kind of likes to DIY, do the most with their projects at home, the Noma Guide to Fermentation opens up a whole other world of fermentation that you can do in your home, and a lot of the projects in there can use some of the glass equipment that you already have. Just make sure you're really sanitizing between uses. Number 4, Brewing Classic Styles. This is a book that was introduced to me by my local homebrew shop, and basically it's like a recipe book for all the classic styles of beer you could want to brew. And you may have heard on the channel before that I've walked into my local homebrew shop and asked for a grain bill for any kind of random beer, and they just put it together. They get those grain bills from this book. So this is a really handy reference guide, kind of a jumping off point for beer recipes. Number 5, and on this channel, this list wouldn't be complete without Ken Schramm's seminal work, The Complete MEADMAKER. This thing is his opus to making mead, and if you're into mead making, it should be your mead making pocket guide on how to make mead. Now, the information in it is a little bit outdated. Nutrition information for mead has come a long way since this thing was written. Hey Ken, we're all due for another edition. This thing's got step-by-step guides, recipes, definitions, history, basically anything you could want to know about mead making, except for updated nutrition information. But I don't fault this book for that at all, because it still has a ton of really great information about how to make mead. And Ken is largely agreed upon to be the leading expert in how to make mead. Number 6 is a little bit lesser known book. It's called Drink the Harvest. Drink the Harvest is a little bit foraging, a little bit backyard gardening, and as far as I can tell, it's the first place I can find Viking blood defined as a cherry mead. This book, like the others, is super beautiful, but it's also really accessible. It's fun, it's kind of carefree, and it really inspires a creative spark for how to use things that we have in our backyard garden, maybe that we pick up at the farmer's market, or stuff that we forage out in the wild. I really love this book, and I need to give it a second read. Number 7 is a big departure, The Flavor Bible. Now, this isn't a homebrewing or fermentation book really at all, but what it is a guide to flavors. And working with flavors and how flavors play and balance each other is really crucial to the homebrewing hobby. And while this one's a little bit more expensive than several of the others on this list, I think it's a really handy guide to have to kind of flip through when you're struggling with, well, what are my next steps on this recipe? I've done all this stuff in primary, but What can I do in secondary? This book is just really full of interesting concepts and ideas on how to play with flavors. Number 8 is a book that I reference at least once a week, The Hop Variety Handbook. This book is super cool, definitely ripe for an update, but it basically has all the common hop varietals that you're gonna find at your local homebrew store or online, and it's got a 1 to 2 page deep dive on each of them. It's got storage information like how long they're gonna last in your freezer, information on alpha acids, flavor profiles, all the different things that you're gonna pick up in the hop, and if you can't find a specific hop, it also helps you with substitutions. I love the Kindle version because it's super searchable, and so if I land on a hop that I want to use and I can't find it anywhere locally, I can search it, find the substitution, and see if I can get my hands on that. This book has been invaluable for me in running this channel. Number 9, for all you aspirational types out there, is Tony McGee's So You Want to Start a Brewery. If you've ever thought of starting a brewery, a winery, a meadery, or even a cider house, read this book first. This book details the story of Lagunitas and how they got started and how several times they almost went bankrupt. This book is a really excellent cautionary tale about trying to start your own brewery, but this book also provides a lot of inspiration and kind of aspiration for those of us who have thought, maybe I could make a little money at this. It will definitely stomp all over your dreams, but it will also give you a reality check on whether or not you are prepared to start your own brewery. And finally, number 10, the biggest big ticket item on this list, wine analysis and production. This book is basically a textbook on how to make wine. It is dense. There's lots of charts, and formulas, and very big words with lots of syllables. And basically it covers everything all the way down to the molecular level on how to produce wine. This is not for the faint of heart, but it is a really interesting and really in-depth look at wine production. Looking at our bookshop list, this thing retails for $160. But I'll let you know, you don't have to buy it off of our bookshop list. If you go to eBay, there is a print from India in English that is significantly cheaper that you can get shipped, I think, anywhere in the world. That's how I got a hold of my copy. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll take a little shopping trip after this video. Our bookshop link will be down in the description. Bookshop is basically like Amazon, except your books come from local bookstores. So you're supporting local bookshops. Bookshop. And your purchases through that list do help support the channel. We get a small cut if you buy through that link. Support local. Thank you for watching. You know, you can join us on all the things. I especially hope that you'll join our Discord server. There's a great community of homebrewers there, and I'm sure they have a bunch of other book recommendations. Do you have a book recommendation? Put it in the comments. I'd love to check it out. Thank you for subscribing also. If you haven't yet, now's a great opportunity to hit that subscribe button and, of course, ring the bell for notifications. That way you never miss a new Doing the Most video. Until next time, happy homebrewing, happy reading, and cheers.